Okay, episode 25, Jenny's Rules. Okay.
I was going to start. I could have waited.
It's okay, though. Got me.
It's a good sound.
It's a good sound.
Refreshment in.
I know. Okay, guys, episode 25 of Jenny's Rules. I've got the Higgins team here with me today. Robyn and Ryan from Caldwell Banker. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
Good. I'm really hoping, to branch out. I haven't had clients with anyone from Caldwell yet. So, this is kind of a little branch out too.
Have to try to change that.
Let's do it. I see you representing the blue.
Everything I've ever done real estate wise has been blue. So
I love that.
pretty tried and true.
I had a car that color, so
Yeah.
I love that color. First question I go into every episode is, how long have you been in the industry?
Myself, licensed 7 years now. I like to always just say, though, by proxy, mid-90s. My mother, Judy Higgins, is the matriarch of the Higgins team.
Yes.
She pretty much laid the groundwork. So have always been around it. Fast forward to the late 90s, meeting Robyn. We met in college, got married, landed over in Oregon, where she got her license in the early 2000s. So again, still always been around it. Moved back here in 2006. She went to work for my mother, and then I onboarded in 2017. So
That's when you joined.
Yeah.
So you were on the team first. That's hilarious. I did not know that.
Yeah.
The dynamic. And you started over there in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bought our first house, and
through a Caldwell Banker agent.
Nice.
So always blue. Yeah.
and the realtor that we bought it through asked me to come on her team. And so I did, because it was a great opportunity, and then decided to get my license. And so we did that in 2001,
That was that.
and then did that until 2006 when we moved here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And, we're having it run in the family, or for you. Did you have any family members in anything in
Nope.
that line?
Family of educators.
Hey.
Yeah. We both went to college to get our criminal justice degree. I went on to be a probation officer for a short time, and then
Wow.
just didn't see that being a job I wanted to do while being a mom.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm sure that's tough.
yeah. So then we just both paid off student loans for degrees we didn't use. And
Through real estate.
Right.
Real
Real
estate,
estate.
buying and selling.
Yeah. Yes.
20s. So.
Very cool. Yeah. And, kind of how you happened upon with you now, licensing wise, are you guys still licensed in Washington? Or Oregon?
No.
Took that off now.
Mhm.
Are you both Idaho and Washington?
So I'm only licensed.
You're no longer. I was going to say the dynamic, I know you guys told me earlier.
Yeah.
Kind of go into how the team runs and functions.
Well, she's the boss.
Duh. Duh.
I'm the easy people person, dealing with clients, and I guess we used to call it with Judy, making it rain. So I make it rain, and she mops up the puddles.
I'm the detail.
Oh,
I'm the details behind the transaction and listings.
emails.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, through the years of doing this, I have a lot of experience in seeing the market go high and low. So bringing that back in and being like, well, let's try this, because this is the kind of market we're in. So we need
These
to
things
switch this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the preemptive, not planning, but just seeing how the market
Yes.
is. Where is this kind of the idea of where you thought this was going to go
Mm-hmm.
when things were changing years ago?
As far as which part?
Just to our market, I would say let's just keep our valley maybe in its own separate, not from nationwide. It's just so different.
It is very different.
Absolutely. So from here aspect, were you seeing any signs or anything that was to just give you this indicator that change was coming?
The pendulum swings, and it has always swung. It's how fast is it going to swing? How far is it going to go? I mean, so can you predict how far and fast? No, you try, and you listen to all the economists who try, and we're finding that they're all awesome, often somewhat right, but not completely right. So nobody saw COVID coming, and nobody knew what it would do. Honestly, we thought COVID, when it first happened, was going to be a killer to the market. Like we were all going to just be done.
Right.
And then that changed very quickly.
Yes.
So as far as where we're at now, I always like to say I feel like we're back to a healthy place. So we're back to a
Steady.
steady, because it was very unhealthy during COVID.
Yeah.
Sellers got to pretty much dictate everything. So it's nice to have buyers have a little bit of power.
Yes. With
More balanced.
kind of the things that we have on active listings, it's still low compared to, but how are you guys adjusting from that, from the normalcy to now? Is there anything? Have you
I think
adjusted?
the biggest adjustment we've tried to make is trying to be very out front with clientele, having hard conversations prior to needing to have that hard conversation, just kind of setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I love that you want $5 million for your house, but I'm telling you it's only worth 1 million. The market doesn't lie. So it's, I think that's been our biggest adjustment, is just trying to be more forthcoming on the front end, as we're listing or as we're starting to work with a new buyer, and just, trying to be realistic with
Debunking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Debunking.
Debunking. Lots of that.
Almost teaching in itself in a way.
Yes.
Well, we're in the business of selling homes. I'm not in the business of having properties sit on the market.
Yeah.
I want lots of listings. I don't want them sitting out there. I want them sold.
Right.
I want results from my clientele.
Right.
So
with the uprise, I feel like we're getting really deep really quick in this, which is good. It's good. But I never want anything that's too I don't know, but with how the market, pricing has gone up, what are some, why did that happen?
supply and demand.
Yeah. Yeah.
As people realized in COVID, I don't have to live on the I-5 corridor where I don't want to live. I can move somewhere like the Valley and hop wherever I need to hop, once a month, twice a month, whatever. So, that was absolutely the big kicker change.
And cash, so much cash in the market was also a driving force, because of course with cash, people were paying more for houses than they were worth. And so that just naturally drives the market up. And
it's comparables.
Yeah.
Are you seeing an influx with investments, property people, or anything in that term?
I think there's a better mix now of all parts.
Okay.
Thankfully, I think that was what the big thing was.
Yeah.
A lot of people buying second homes or whatever. They were leaving the city or whatever.
Moving up here. Yeah.
Yeah. They just had the ability to spend a lot more, and they thought our prices were great.
Well, yeah, you sell your 3-bed, 2-bath home in Orange County for 1.5 million. You come here and you can have that for 400 grand.
Yes.
That's a bargain.
Yes, for them. Sure.
That was what, hurt our local people as far as trying to keep up.
And what are maybe some things that are going to need to keep it to change? Is there a change?
We'd have to have a large influx of new construction, I think. There'd have to be that were entry level all the way up, that were priced for people who are coming out of rentals, or even just people trying to buy their second, pop up their second.
Oh, that first time home buyer. If I think when my husband and I first bought ours to now being a first time, it's night and day. Yeah. 100% increase.
Yeah. More than that.
It's just
first time we ever bought was 108.
108.
Wow.
It was,
in Bend, Oregon.
3-bed, 2-bath on a nice lot in Bend.
Do you remember your interest rate?
It was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
so,
wild.
Yeah.
And just how, things are now, but to see some change, it's got to be really dramatic. And do you guys deal with any building or construction stuff?
Yep, we do. That's, we're pretty blessed that's pretty much our niche.
Nice.
Yeah, the Higgins team has represented a local builder since the late
2010.
2000s.
Oh, wow. There when I graduated in 2010.
Mm. Thanks.
Young, but
I always love when people say that.
I'm a millennial, but I'm not those millennials. Okay.
So yeah, we're pretty blessed to have that. So that's that's just a perpetual motion machine. But then
But yeah, he's a builder that was wanting to expand and build more per year. Hired Judy because she had a team. And together, between them and us, we were able to move them into a 24 to 25 houses a year. So
That's so cool.
it's
It's been
systems
awesome.
in place.
Yeah.
that
And
just-
it's a continued thing. Yeah.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
For the Valley, do you guys only do Valley or do you do outskirts stuff?
pretty much just that.
Just Valley. Yeah.
I mean, we'll sell existing or list existing homes.
Sure. Just land.
But as far as the new construction goes, it's Lewis.
Pretty
Oh,
local.
yeah. But we do others beyond the new construction. I mean, there's definitely a lot of transactions we do outside of the new construction, but
Oh, good.
and so yeah, we've sold in Moscow
Yeah.
but we don't want to list in those areas because we don't feel like the
not our
knowledge is
market.
there. It's not
Yeah.
our knowledge isn't like if somebody wanted to list a house in Moscow, it'd be like, is that a good neighborhood?
Right.
Like we don't know.
I know.
Mhm.
So, with you being a local, I would say, and are you from here locally?
I was born in Caldwell,
Okay.
and then came up here for college.
That's cool.
Mhm.
With that, backing you, and then of course your mom. When did she leave?
2000.
Uh,
January 2000.
I thought she was actually officially out 2001, January 1 of 2001. She was around as COVID hit,
Yeah.
and that was kind of hey, I could really enjoy being retired, because things were just changing so quick.
Yeah.
It was just hectic.
Yeah.
So I believe it was January 1st of 2001, and the idea was that she'd kind of phase out a little bit, but then
She
when
did.
she got a taste of retirement, she was like, "Yeah, I am."
Never mind.
Yeah.
You
Did
get
she-
to drive the bus now. Go.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of, did she give you any words of wisdom or advice throughout these years?
I learned lots. She was really good at, we've got a lot of still good realtors from her,
Oh yeah,
her era.
idol.
All those gals, the Joyces, the Shelleys, the Rhondas. Rhonda's now pretty well retired,
I
but
know.
even Loris. I mean, there's so much to learn from those gals that have done it forever.
Right.
They're magicians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've seen it all.
Yes.
Every aspect.
Multiple times up and
Yes.
down. So, whereas a lot of, I'd include myself in this, 7 years in the business, it's been a pretty bump free 7 years, I guess, up until now. And even right now, it's not, it's not like super big and bumpy. It's still a pretty good market.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are still buying.
Yeah. I would say everything we know and do and have created was because of her. She
Still follow every.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
And there'll still be things we'll run by her and she'll have feedback for.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
She'll never fully let it go.
I think while she's able,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
She likes to know. She likes to be in the know.
I love.
But then she doesn't want to really be in the know.
Give me
Tell me,
much
but
work.
then I'm done. I don't want to. Yeah.
Is there anything that I feel like maybe it's embedded into your brain, like her words?
And don't call back.
Yeah. That she in hard situations where you end the phone call, she'd always say, "Don't call back."
She wouldn't say that to them, but if that was somebody she
Yeah.
she didn't.
My line is, "Lose my number."
Yeah.
So we quote her often on the don't call back.
Oh, I like that.
I guess I remember her saying early on, and we coached through a company called the Feeney and Company as well. And one thing I learned early on is that, no business is better than bad business. There's certain times where you can just tell, hey, our personalities aren't going to jive, and that's okay. I like to take it on me and just say, hey, you know what? I don't think I'm the agent for you. I think you deserve better, and that's okay. So, I'm giving you permission to go find somebody else. And that doesn't happen often, but when you're there and your intuition says it's that time,
Yeah.
you got to follow it.
Yeah.
Because just chasing after bad business, I'd rather
Missed. It's just
go mow the lawn or
do
do
anything
something
else.
else. have a beer on a
Pick up
podcast.
dog poop.
Yeah.
It's the worst job I hate at my house. I would rather do that. Now my kiddos are old enough I can get
Yes.
but and the family legacy, is this going to be passed on?
I don't know. We've got she'll be 21 in the fall, and then a 19-year-old this month.
2 daughters that
Yeah.
once in a while will throw it out there,
Interest.
and then they'll be like, no. And they'll throw it out there, and then be like, no. So I think they're still back, but neither of them really know exactly what they want to do.
Sure.
One of them's on the track to be a paramedic, but the other one's just graduating. So I don't know. I mean, personality wise, I'd say one of them definitely has her dad's personality and one has mine. So
Still a good team.
maybe they could go in together.
Yeah. Well, if you think back when you were their age and maybe seeing your mom, like, did you think you would be in that?
Crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
even crossed my mind. So I started working for Costco Wholesale in 1997.
Nice.
A couple years into college, and then that provided a great avenue for us up until I left there this May will be 3 years, so 21, left in 21, so 24 or almost 24 years there. No, really until the last, I guess the mid-teens, 2014, 2015, we kind of started talking about it as Mom was wanting to get out and Robyn was not interested. But seeing a well-oiled machine and a bus in motion,
Yeah.
and the blessing that it is.
Yes.
Actually, long story short, it would have been 2015. I had a pretty big injury that provided myself a lot of time down.
Really?
So that was when I did all my licensure.
Wow.
Spent the time doing it. So,
Yeah.
kind of turned a bad
Preparing.
situation into a blessing. And
Yeah.
then ran with it. Did Costco and real estate for several years. And then COVID pretty much chased me off on the working for Costco.
Really?
Being in a big corporation like
Yeah.
that. It was awful. So
Having to stay home.
yeah, at some point, I think we both listened to she listened to a podcast and she was like, hey, you got to listen to this. And I listened to it and then we got back together. And the takeaway kind of was just like, how long do you stay safe by holding on to this little safety net over here? What are you missing out in your real estate career by not just, jumping ship from this pays the mortgage, this provides the
Insurance.
benefits and insurance.
Yes.
This just keeps everything safe so
Yeah.
that this can kind of be a hobby. When do you just jump full force? And,
I feel like I'm in that right now. I hate to say that.
it's a big step.
It is. And when I first, both my licenses got active, the rates
Mm-hmm.
went up.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is all I've known is this normal.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to go from maybe closing 10 loans a month to one,
Right.
it's an adjust even for my whole office. Everybody was affected.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so now I do a few other jobs and a few other things that fill my paycheck, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say time, because with this job, I'm able to do it anywhere,
Right.
anytime
Yep.
that I am available.
Yep.
But it is that when should I just pull the plug and go dive in,
Mhm.
and I'm in that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think you learn with time,
Yeah.
but you
It's
just gotta
scary.
do it. I know.
It is-
No,
it is.
fear.
24 years at a company, that's a big safety net.
Huge.
And that was, the most difficult part was, leaving that. Unfortunately, I think as a society, we've got people stuck in jobs that don't fulfill them because that's where they get their healthcare benefits from. And that's right where I was at. I loved what I did. I loved the work I did. I loved the people I worked with. I just didn't like the corporate structure and the bunk that came along with it.
Ugh.
Yeah, let's
Conveyor
jump ship and see what happens.
Yeah.
So far, it's been.
So we unhooked the golden handcuffs. We jumped in.
You jumped in. And, with the dynamic, you now aren't, you just do the back end stuff, no license stuff and the preferred way of how you guys want and that just fit
Mhm.
already in its own puzzle piece. You didn't need to adjust too much, right?
The biggest adjustment has just been married couple together all the time. Harder on her than me, you know.
Sure. Sure.
Admittedly, but
Do you guys do anything hobby wise separate or anything where you can
you know, this last few years has been pretty.
All in.
Oh,
all in all the time?
to the gym, to the office.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
We start our day together. We end our day together.
Yeah.
kids
All
are
through the middle of the day.
Yeah.
kids are getting ready to, you know, make their transition in life. So, yeah, I mean, there's hobbies, obviously. I mean, I
Sure,
like to
sure.
sing and do stuff like that she doesn't like to do, but we're still
It's just that machine though that
navigating this new life. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it's starting to settle in though, I think.
that's good.
We do pretty well together.
Very well, at least you know you like each other.
Yeah.
24
For
years
the most
marriage later, you know.
Right. The team aspect, what's something that you feel like is the ultimate positive, you know, for being just individual?
Oh, well, God, we were just listening to one of our office partners talking about that and how he's feels like he's a one-man show and he's busy enough that he could afford to have
Mm-hmm.
somebody help him out. And he's dying.
Mm.
He's just like, I'm over it. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So just that in itself, the taking on, the fighting and conquering, having somebody do the stuff that you're not good at so that you can go do what you're good at. That was Judy's biggest, I think one of the biggest things we could take away from Judy was she was willing to compromise the big paycheck and pay people to do what she was weak at because she knew, oh, you're good at that. You're doing that. She was a delegator and she was a great leader and she could just focus on what she was good at. So that's why the team is strong. You have to have people who can fill in the gap.
Well, and teams, I don't know, you know, are becoming more of a thing and people are changing and doing all sorts of stuff. If someone was, you know, stuck in that feeling or maybe wanting to join into a team, like what are some things that you need to maybe take away from in your thought process of like, is this a positive or a negative? What are some points that you would point out?
For somebody thinking about being on a team.
Yeah, anybody.
I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but they need to be a team player. They need to be willing to be not the main focus. They need to be willing to let people do the things they're not good at. I mean, it's like
to function well with constructive criticism, you know, people pointing out that, hey, there's a deficiency here. And that's, you know, how do we fill those gaps to make everything complete?
But as far as real estate is concerned, I think that that's one of the best things a new agent can do is find another agent who's been doing it a long time that's willing to take them under their wing. Best thing they can do. If they're going to be a new agent, go out on their own. If they don't have a sphere, if they don't have the knowledge, if they haven't, you know, haven't got a good broker above them that's going to feed them knowledge and leads and all of that, then find an agent that would do that with you because they're a wealth of information. If they're going to give you business, even if they're going to take a portion of your commission, it's going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
That would be
just the knowledge, the knowledge that you'll be able to obtain from all that.
Because no transaction's the same. You're going to learn something new every single time. You're never going to reach the pinnacle of knowledge in real estate.
I've noticed too with like questions, maybe I'll answer the same question in every scenario, but it's the way that I'm saying it to each specific person is completely like
they hear it different.
Yes.
It needs to be delivered differently.
Yes. Yeah. It's the versatileness of everything.
Well, realistically, real estate lending,
yes,
it boils down to just relationships with people. Absolutely. How you deal with people, gaining trust.
The team.
You know, arguably the biggest asset people buy or sell. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Those are very good. Very good. I always like to ask to kind of mid, you know, as if you have a favorite neighborhood in the valley.
Northeast Crossing.
Well, yeah.
Where you live.
No, that's just the one that's the builder.
Nice.
It's Doug. I've always dug that Reno area.
Yeah. I like to be out in the middle of nowhere. So give me Tammany View Estates clear out by Waha.
Get some
Give me 5 years. Yeah.
But first home I ever sold was the late 90s, and it was in the Reno edition. Without being licensed. So my mom has the listing, and I basically sold it to my boss. Like, dude, you got to see this. This house
It
is
was your
great.
boss at the time?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And he
cool.
still lives there 20
Oh,
something years
shoot.
later.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be more funny.
It was,
Yeah.
that was fun.
I have lots of different favorites in this town, though. It depends on what you're looking for, but
House styles, maybe. Yeah.
I love the mid-century,
Yeah.
anything 50s and 60s are great.
Normal Hill. Or
A
Normal Hill.
yeah. There's some great ones on Normal Hill.
We just sold a fun modern house over in Sunset Edition. So there's some.
Oh,
there's some
yeah.
And on up
cool
on
ones over there as well.
25th.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some cool houses in our town.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I know, with all the history. And
Mhm.
I did an open house with a real estate agent, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, pretty sure this is haunted." I was
Yeah.
like, "What?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, yeah, the doors open sometimes by themselves." I'm like, "No, this is crazy. This is wild."
Are we out of here? Let's go.
Speaking of like construction, like when you do look through all these different house styles and split level, if you go to the orchards and all that, what are some things that you know from you, like personal or just your years of knowledge, that you know is a problem and it needs fixed?
That's tough to say. I think that, I'm able to lean pretty heavily on her market knowledge, just being in it for so long. I think,
The sewer lines.
yeah, all of us as agents are getting savvy with, pre 1960. Let's look at the sewer line.
Yep.
We're finding lots of bad sewer lines around. I don't think any one thing other than that really jumps out.
Oh, good.
Check the panels at a Federal Pacific panel, those kinds of things. When I'm speaking with, prospective listings or, even buyers as we're digging around, I'm always kind of looking from the appraisal brainwave too of, hey, that's going to need strapped. I don't see CO2 detectors.
FHA,
Got to be an
paint,
issue with no GFCI there.
Should
Just
be,
always kind of trying to have.
VA.
Yeah.
I actually just recently was dealing with clients that were looking at a property, and the VA year that was built was 1970. Oh gosh, that's not all on top of my head. If it's built, but like from
1978
6
or what?
VA, like that's like the line. Like if it was built
Okay.
before that, then you can't go through VA with it.
Interesting.
And it's like to the year, to the month.
Huh.
And this property was on the year, and
We needed to get it closed.
well, trying to just find the month when it was built. Yeah. It's literally to like June.
They don't write that stuff down in the files, do they? The year or the month, the year.
You,
not
you
the
have to
month.
call like the city. You have to get a little more digging into that
Mhm.
aspect, but it's just stuff
Interesting.
like that I'm learning along the way of.
Have you learned why?
No. Well, I mean, law wise, I think I don't really know if it says what the
Protection for
VA
a certain amount of ages. I've never heard. We don't do a lot.
moved to can only be moved,
Well, yeah.
a certain amount. Like, but I don't
But
really
is it
know what
not
the
a
year,
rule?
if that was like, this is the year that we're cutting it off. No.
Interesting.
And the month.
And the month. So
That's
it's like,
weird.
it is. I didn't realize how much of a jump through you have to go through.
Mhm.
But just, having those knowledgeable things. And with first time home buyers, I'll jump into this. Is that even a thing anymore? Are we even going to claim?
Yeah, that's a question that we ask. I want to know if it's a first time home buyer. I want to know that then I need to hold your hand that much more, be that much more detailed in my communication with you. If you're an old hand, if we don't talk for a few days at a time, that's okay. But when you're a first time home buyer, you need to, your agent needs to be walking beside you.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Well, I'm just like in the how things are right now.
Are they gonna even be able to buy it?
Yeah. Like, how are you tackling these people that are coming to you as first time home buyers? And,
It's tough.
and
If the
I'm
price ranges are low, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some first time home buyers can afford $400,000.
yeah.
But if it's somebody that we have somebody right now that's not first time home buyers, but they're under 300, and it's just been like, it's hard.
It's
Hard
tough.
to find
Right.
something that's not needing a lot of work. And
Yeah.
these people
And
are
those are those
elderly.
investor price ranges too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Getting
That
white.
people are snatching up. So
Are you guys, or are you a good visualer?
visualizer.
Yeah, like if you were to go into a space that
Mhm.
needs some work and
So, yeah.
give some like visual. Here, this is what you could do to
Yeah.
make it yours.
We're both able to do that, which is
Oh, good.
nice.
I'm terrible.
Mhm.
I have no eye. Do
I do love that kind of stuff.
you like design?
I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. That's fun for me.
She makes a cozy home.
Oh,
My hobby's fluffing my nest.
yes. I love that.
Oh no, where'd this move?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I was saying when we take stuff out of our house and like just donate and all that? I feel like my house loses weight.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's
Well, I've always said that she likes to repaint so often that we lose square footage.
Yeah.
So, with another
oh shoot.
We're losing square footage. I like that is.
buyer to verify that this is real.
Let's talk about then trends.
Huh?
All these things are changing in styles and with the construction stuff. What are some limitations or what are some drawing of the line like between trending to function?
Really, with the new construction, there's not. I mean, if you have the wherewithal to build it, or have builder build it for you and pay for it,
Plans
yeah.
brought to them,
I
right?
don't know that he'd do like a sunken 70s floor for you or anything like that. But
Like, I am not a fan of trends.
Mm.
I try to avoid the trendy thing because it's so fast. How long ago was it that we were doing the little teeny tiny glass tile backsplashes? It wasn't very long ago.
Right.
And they're already out.
Yeah.
So it's like
Barn doors, just
barn doors
all
everywhere.
those would be.
Yeah. So I'm more of a classic. Try to stick with stuff that will stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
For our own houses, I've always done that. But as far as like, our builder's never asked me to really design or choose colors. He'll ask for some feedback, but I just think that you have to stay away from the things that are like all one color, like everything's gray or everything's brown, or you got to kind of
Versatile.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So people can change it for themselves,
Yes.
add their style.
Yes.
Yeah. So
if once you fill in with stuff and frames and couches, it changes everything.
It does.
With listing houses, I always, get that. Is it better to have the person not living in the property? What are
that depends.
pros and cons of that? Just stuff that people tackle in their own.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, dogs. Can I ask if you've ever had a dog situation with like a listing, or are you going and looking at houses?
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Where you're not going to be able to follow that client into the house because it stinks so bad.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
You're going to have to look at this one yourself.
Pretty weak. Yeah, I had to one time did have to say that to some kids. Hey, take a couple steps in.
Oh no.
It can be tough.
Wild.
Everybody's concept of cleanliness is different.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, no, we've never had any dogs like bite us or anything or try to attack
Like
us.
what was that dog? Cujo. Cujo.
Cujo.
I don't think we've really ever had any pet problems.
Well, that's good.
We had the one house where everybody fell in love with the dog and wanted the dog with the house.
Oh.
Whiskey?
Agents, whiskey. Whiskey was the dog.
Oh, that's cute.
And whiskey was pretty cool.
That's
But
cute.
everybody wanted whiskey.
Oh shoot.
Agents, home buyers.
Oh.
He doesn't go with the house. He doesn't follow the house.
That's fun.
Everything's negotiable. So
Yeah, you never
Except
know.
whiskey.
you never know.
Yeah, he would.
Oh.
We had a broker early on. Actually, our last broker prior to our current one, and he had a great story about negotiating for a dog.
Really?
Yeah. People fell in love with the house. They fell in love with the dog. He got them the dog.
I don't know if I could. I think back to my dog. Well, she has tendencies. They all do, but just like kids.
Maybe one of the kids.
Negotiate for the kid, yeah. No.
When it comes down to, your listings, do you give a kind of a set, this is what's going to get it off the market fast? These are the things that'll.
Depends on motivation.
Sure.
100%. The first conversation is, hey, what's the goal? Is the goal maximizing dollar? Is it getting out quick?
Time.
Or is it, hey, I've fallen in love with what I want to buy over here. We've got an accepted contingent offer.
Sales.
So, hey, here's the number we need to go and make this happen.
Yeah.
So, it varies in all situations. But that's the fun.
Just preparing to list. I mean, we definitely have always talked about clearing out half of everything in every room, making sure closet floors have stuff up off of them, depersonalizing as best you can, but still be comfortable in your home because it could take a while to sell. So don't like move yourself out and then leave yourself with one spoon and one fork and, make life horrible for a while. But yeah, I think it's important that they understand that the decluttering is huge for people's visual. Another thing that Judy used to do is she had a frame of like a crunched up dollar bill and a crisp dollar bill. And she would say, which one would you pick up? Like, your house needs to look like the crisp dollar bill, not the crunchy one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I love that Judy's just sprinkled in a little
She
bit.
sprinkled
The whole thing.
And that was something like I've said, I've used that more than once when we were in the market of COVID. It was like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if your dollar bill is crumpled.
Yeah,
It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell.
15% over.
yeah,
This-
yeah.
We need to think about that. We're back to a market where you need to outshine your competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the weather change, do you feel like that's picked up a little bit too with recently with the weather changing?
We had a really busy February.
Did you?
Yeah, February, early March.
Oh,
and
good.
now we're kind of hitting a lull right now, but that's okay.
It's always like that.
Yeah.
Mine too. I feel like I'll go through with talking
Yeah.
to so many people, and then all of a sudden it's just
Quiet.
Breaks are good.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
focus and
But not to give up in those low. That's where I'm trying to, social media.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where you pick up
Yeah.
other things like your personal connections and
Who's the techie one out of the? Yeah.
then it's
all
pretty
tech.
pretty minimal too. I mean,
Oh, but as far as the social media portion, I don't dive too deep into it.
it's not
Too deep.
something that
No.
either of us enjoy.
It's a learning curve.
And I know that, that's a lot of the direction the industry is going, but
How are you tackling it then?
Well, to be quite honest, last summer or the summer before, I can't remember which summer I did it, but I actually asked I said, okay, we're going to take a whole month whole summer off of social media and see if it actually affects our business. And we found that it didn't. So I said, okay, we're going to do what we need to do to stay somewhat relevant, but it's not going to be our main focus. So as far as our Buffini coaching tells us, it's in this kind of interactions, it's in the personal notes, it's in the calls, it's in the pop buys, it's in the face to face. And so there's a place for social media, and we've got some great agents in this town killing it with social media.
Killing it.
But it's just not our style. And we call ourselves what do you call yourself?
a dinosaur.
He calls himself a dinosaur sometimes. So we're okay with that. We've been in the business a while. I have, and we're approaching 50, and we realize there's a generational thing there.
I'm old school. I want to communicate with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I don't want to set up a showing online. I want to call the agent. Hey, what's going on? Anything happening there? How are you? What's up?
Yeah.
With this small area, just our area. So if we were to be in maybe Seattle, be a thicker, it'd be a whole different ball game. But with us, it's just this kind of unique on how to balance the things that are happening now that everyone's doing to the old school ways. Works for you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
I
It is
love
definitely.
We've always been big on, Judy was big on nurturing her sphere, turning your clientele into your foot soldiers, essentially. I mean,
Branching.
we've been really
there.
blessed to be able to continue that. And thankfully, a lot of her clientele from prior to me onboarding are people that I've always known.
Yes.
So thankfully they can see me differently now than when I was younger and
Oh no.
slightly wilder.
Were you into sports?
So we moved here. I moved here as a sophomore in high school, and I did my freshman year in Iowa. Was a big swimmer,
Oh.
individual sport. As far as swimming goes, back in Iowa, swimming was huge. So moved here. Was never into the baseballs or the footballs so.
I swam. Also.
Yeah, well, there was no swimming here at the time.
Yeah,
Still kind of is. I
dipped.
mean, it's club swimming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Took a took up tennis in high school and,
Oh,
and
cool.
totally enjoyed that and ran with that for my high school years.
Oh, cool.
Played a year at LC.
Yeah, went and played a year at LC.
Do you still play?
I don't, which is too
Oh.
bad. You know,
He is a man of many, many hobbies, and I'm always like, well, why don't you still do that? Why don't you still do that? He has a lot.
You like to learn
A
new things?
couple of them. Oh my gosh, everything. He's done everything. Jumped out of airplanes.
Oh my gosh. Sound like me. I like to try new things
He
always.
is all about it.
Yeah. That's cool.
yeah. I should. I've tried to dabble back into tennis. It's hard when you were good at something and then tennis isn't like riding a bike.
No.
You know,
Barely play ping pong.
so to try to jump back in and struggle is just kind of like,
Yeah.
eh.
When I ski, because I hurt myself quite a bit skiing.
Me too.
Yeah,
Sure.
that was the big injury.
Oh, it was. Oh, shoot.
Tore both. Tore one.
Both?
Calf.
Well, two consecutive
Blew the calf.
seasons just
Completely
completely ripped my calf.
Like
were you
bruised
doing?
from hip to ankle.
Were you on the pipeline? What were you doing?
No, so it's the stupidity of youth. You just dial your bindings up, and
Yeah.
we just dial them all the way
All
up.
the
And
way up.
so both times were situations where you needed to eject.
You could.
Just
Didn't
get,
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
both times thinking, what's going to happen here? Is my calf going to rip, or is my heel going to come out of this binding? And
Both times the
Correct.
calf.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So-
Fear got a hold of
so
me.
now the flip side is I don't dial them up enough.
Yes.
And so
Oh,
here,
Pop off and you're just
a month ago, I double ejected out and hit a tree. And,
Yeah.
some people may have seen the black eye online. I guess it was out there.
Dude.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I did.
So-
Yeah.
It's brutal. I just mine was my one knee, my ACL.
Oh.
Just the
Knees.
oh gosh, the knees.
Yeah.
And so now when I ski, I'm a dinosaur. I just feel like I tidbit around until I know the terrain pretty good, and then I do a little bit of speed, but
Right.
I don't know, I'm not as fast as I used to.
That's
I'm slowing down.
okay.
Fear.
Says the guy who hit a tree a month ago.
Yeah, our bodies just are not the same. Our bodies get older. They don't bend like they used to.
No.
Yeah.
They bend in different ways that hurt.
Mhm.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Do you do any fun sports when you were in high school or anything?
I played softball, but this will show you how old I am. I played softball from the age of 5 all the way till I was a junior when they decided to go fast pitch.
Oh shoot.
Fast pitch
Killed
me.
Yeah.
sent me right out of the.
Dang.
I played 1 year and I was like, this isn't going to work for me. So then that was it.
Yeah.
I volleyball a little bit, but that's it.
Little bits in there.
Mm-hmm.
My son does hockey. And so we're in the hockey world.
Yeah.
And here it's not super big, but it's just something that,
That's fun.
oh, it's so fun. But we went over by Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Tri-Cities. Huge.
Mhm.
It's big almost everywhere else but here, right?
And it's just this crazy, you would think it would be something to do in the valley. I always talk to people and they're like, we have an ice rink.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's true. You never see it advertised or anything.
Really?
Unless
No.
you're in the know.
Some open skates and stuff, but
Yeah.
and that's how my son got started. Was they did a try hockey for free,
Mm.
so they can get the kids all geared up. Just bring them. They don't know how to stand on their skates even.
Yeah. Right.
They're just they fall on the ground, and that's how it got started.
Uh-huh.
So
Fun.
I
How
know.
old is your son?
he'll be 10
Oh,
this year. So
sweet.
it's fun.
Mhm.
He's on a traveling team, and
Mm-hmm.
it's actually been kind of nice with the winter to summer. We have kind of a little bit of a break. Winter with it being the slower season.
Yeah.
In terms of everybody. It's a little more time that I get to spend, on the road with my family and do
Mhm.
stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
just fun things to hear all these stories.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Kids are fun.
Right. You guys have girls too, right? 2 girls? Yeah. Boys. I don't know. I have a boy and a girl. So I've got both.
Fun.
The
That's
boys are wild.
They're a totally different ball game.
I was destined to get girls.
He was.
Even the cat's a girl.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
You're all no.
And it's a foreign thing for him.
They're
He's
still
so confused. 'Cause he just had a brother, so he's just like, what is happening?
Are you the oldest?
Youngest.
Youngest. Yeah.
Yep.
Was he ever, or can I ask, with your mom, did she ever take you guys when you were like young, teenagers or anything, like to showings or anything? Or like, oh, mom's working.
We started when Bill was already in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we moved here, my brother had graduated in Iowa, so he
Okay.
stayed back. So no, but I was, even before she was in real estate, she was in sales.
Okay.
She had a little boutique, makeup,
Colors.
Oh,
accessories and stuff.
really?
There'd be times it was out of the house, and there were times when the doorbell would ring and she wouldn't be around, but I'd let ladies in and
He'd sell stuff.
tell
to
them
them.
all kinds of stuff. So
No.
I guess the sales aspect is
It's been there.
Oh, wow.
It's in him. Yeah.
or in Boy Scouts, I could sell the top tier of whatever
You were
fundraiser we were after, knocking on doors. I was just good at it.
Do you ever do any like thing in the valley, that you're hooked to with like fundraisers or anything?
No, we're just actually starting to branch out and get
Good.
involved.
Yeah, I'm on the advisory council for the Reliance Center.
Just right over here?
Yeah,
Yeah, very
and
cool.
He is actually
Getting,
LCSC Foundation.
getting ready to onboard onto the LCSC Foundation and pour back some time into the alma mater.
Yes.
I think we're just getting there because our girls are. That was kind of like that wasn't something our girls both went to Cornerstone Christian School. So for that 9 years of both of them, we were fully engulfed in Cornerstone.
Yes.
So then they went out of Cornerstone into Clarkson High School, and there was a time frame of just, not having to be super involved in anything like that anymore. And so now I think we're just getting our groove back.
Back into it.
Having the time. I mean,
yeah.
I've always been a commitment-ophobe. So to commit to something, prior to now, to life, just kind of being in motion and the kids having their own motion.
Yeah.
Well, when Ryan left Costco, he'd been working the morning shift since our first was born. So he was on the 2 a.m. sometimes.
Yep.
4 a.m. So his evenings were never open to anything but sleep. So that was another thing he had to kind of break the habit of like, oh, okay, I don't need to be home every night now. I can actually do some things.
Yeah. The habits that you get into.
Mhm.
My husband, when we first had our son, he was on nights for 7 years. And it's like this whole new
Still breaking habits.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
it's still crazy.
Yeah.
Of those little things, but kids really, trying to time manage with them, or just this last 2 weeks, the spring break.
Mhm.
I had clients calling me, and my kids are in the background, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Just
But hey, I'm a mom
spring
too.
break. I'm a mom. I try to juggle, all this. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you can't, I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I want it to be, this is my availability.
Yeah.
If it's okay, then this is where I can chat.
Boundaries are great.
Yeah.
And that whole, like I touched on earlier, sometimes you can just tell, hey, I don't know that I'm the right fit for you. And really what you're saying is, I know that you're not the right fit for me, but I'm going to take it on me and be the professional and just say, hey.
Yeah.
Boundaries are.
It takes maturity to understand that and to set those boundaries.
Yes.
Can
I ask who gives bad news? Like if there was something, who's the one that dabbles in like breaks the bad news?
As far as the clientele and stuff, myself, since I'm
You.
a licensed agent. Yeah.
You have a calming voice too. I think that's
cool. And it's a bummer. Bad news is no fun.
No fun.
We had to cut a deal off today due to a home inspection, and I feel bad for seller, I feel bad for buyer, I feel bad for other agent.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Our style of real estate, and I think if you asked a lot of different agents in this town, you'd hear this out of them. I'm a win-win person. Some agents want to win. Somebody's got to lose, somebody's got to win. There's a way for everybody to walk away from this transaction feeling good. My tagline is, along with I'm a dinosaur, is that I look at everybody as a colleague, not a competitor. I mean, there's a lot of business to do.
Absolutely.
Let's do it well, and let's do it professionally that reflects better on all of us versus that cutthroat,
Yeah.
person that
Mhm.
really all you make yourself do is look bad, and you can make me look bad in the process as well, or other realtors look bad. Um, I think it's important for everybody to feel good.
Absolutely.
We can't always, but definitely make every effort to, right?
Yeah.
Avenues to try. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. To
Mhm.
not give up until it's to that point.
We're supposed to represent our clients as best we can, or to the fullest we can, but
Yes.
sometimes, representing them well is also
Obstacles.
allowing a little bit of a win over there that gets
getting
the
the house
glory.
they want. I mean, sometimes it's getting you the house you want, which might mean that you have to compromise. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Mhm.
I asked this too on another one. Have you ever had a client where they bought a house that was exactly all their points were met?
That's pretty tough. No,
No,
I would
I've
say
had-
Not
no.
unless they're building a new house.
And even then,
Even then.
6 months later, I wish we would have.
Added this or that, but going into it, they're getting what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, typically.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
That is it. Yeah.
That's really true.
You can have with your house if you're going to build it. You can choose all your colors. You can choose your floor plan, your lot, all that.
Your closet size, all the little
But even then, you move in and think, oh, you know what, a skylight over there might have been cool, or
Yeah.
just how it works.
details.
So no, that's that's the conversation. Is we need to find something that checks most of the boxes. What are the most important boxes?
Yep.
But then even that changes at times.
A lot of buyers come in with their list and
That
they almost never
expectation.
know what they
Isn't that
list.
funny?
Yeah.
I have to have this, and this,
Have
and
to
then
have
they
a
fall in
basement.
love with something, and you're just like,
That doesn't have a basement.
Or you show them that it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna love it, and then they're like, I didn't like this at all, and you're like,
really?
what?
Yeah.
This had
Yeah.
all the things you said you wanted.
I love hearing these stories of just how different they come into it starting to then when they ended.
Yeah.
The difference that has changed.
That sparks a story in my head. One of my early transactions with Judy, she has a listing. I'm working with buyers. Buyers desire, to stay under a certain price range, but to get what they want, is
You spend more.
exponentially higher. And so, she's just like, okay, well, let's take you and show you what it is that you want.
Oh.
Well, because we had shown them everything they said they could afford, and every single house was just, and they could afford more, and they told us they could afford more.
Comfort.
But really, I don't want to spend more. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we've shown you at least 5 or 6 houses that are just bleh. And so let me just show you this one that fits all of your, and they're like, oh, this is
It's
it.
all,
We're buying.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
we're spending more.
Done.
Yeah. So that was a fun thing to learn.
Yeah, and it's not like trying to upsell people, but it's more of like, hey, what you want is going to cost you this. So let's show you what you think you want.
So that you understand what you
it's
want.
going to cost to get you what you
Yes.
want.
Yeah.
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 I like that.
So
It's very good. I always ask too, do you like candy corn or Peeps marshmallows?
ooh, I would say neither.
If you had to pick, like
Beer. I like beer.
a beer flavored Peeps.
I can answer that, and it has to be the Peeps, and they have to be stale.
You and another one I interviewed.
They have to sit open.
He opens them and they're crunchy. Oh my gosh.
I used to freeze marshmallows to eat them.
Really? Oh, I bet that's actually pretty good.
So I'm not a big sugar guy, so that's
And
why.
I'm a total sugar.
Darrow and I are candy corn lovers.
I don't mind candy corn though either.
You'd eat it.
Yeah, I'll
if
eat
it was there.
I'll eat it.
Yeah,
I'll eat
yeah.
sugar. If it's sugar, I'll eat it. Right? It's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
That's
to
true.
tell Chantel Souders, the
Okay,
other
she
one
did.
that
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
She sent me on Easter a thing and was like, look at my Peeps, and they were open and
Mhm.
sitting out. I'm like,
Mhm.
you're nuts.
Yep. They have to be stale.
Oh, I love that. That's good.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like time has flown,
Yeah.
sitting together, but
It's fun.
thank you guys for coming on here.
Absolutely. It was fun.
appreciate it. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
For sure.